everybody, and welcome to this week's show of ROC'n Recovery. My name's Carol Michelle, and today I'm here with my friend Rich.
Hi, my name is Rich, and I'm definitely a recovering addict.
Awesome. So you came in today, and I kind of hit you off guard, and I asked you if you'd be part of our show, which you so kindly agreed to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what this is about, is helping each other.
Yes. So can you tell everybody why you originally came into the office today?
I came in to get certified for Narcan.
Narcan. And for those of you that don't know, Narcan is the overdose reversal drug that you use. It's a very simple kit. It is a nasal spray. It's easy to use. What did you think about receiving the kit? Is it complicated or?
No, not at all. I mean, it just took a few minutes to go over everything, and then there's the instructions. And for me, it gives me a little more of if I could help somebody.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being helpless in a situation. And with the overdoses being what they are in our area, it's really important that community members have this. One of my favorite things about it is it's free. Hi everybody, thanks for staying with us here on ROC'n Recovery. Today I'm here with my friend Rich, and he's going to share with us a little bit about his journey into recovery. Tell us about you, Rich. How did you end up finding recovery?
Let's see. Well, I originally came into recovery back in 1985, and it was after I wanted to die, and the drugs couldn't take me out, or didn't take me out, and I put myself into a program, and back in those days, it was more of you had to be an alcoholic than a drug addict. So, because if you went to a rehab or even a detox, they didn't really want nothing to do with, drug addict was a taboo, was, bad, which it is, but, so I finally I went through a detox out in Albion at that time, it was, and then, I went into another rehab here in Rochester, and to make a long story short, I was clean for quite a while. I was doing the things that I was, that they was told for me to do, and back then it was a lot more of, things weren't sugar-coated. Things weren't, if you stop using, you're gonna hit the lottery, and you're gonna be, you'll have the house with the picket fence and all that stuff. It wasn't told. It was just the promise of the freedom of addiction, and it was just to the point where I was ready to try anything, and I did. And unfortunately, after a few 24 hours, my sponsor moved away, and I didn't look for another sponsor. And then all of a sudden I started feeling that people in the meetings were full of, I know it's a family show, so I gotta watch what I say. But what I really realize now, other than then, was I was already setting myself up to use again, because I stopped going to meetings, I stopped doing all the things that were saving my life, and I went through life for another probably 20 years of not using, but I wasn't going to meetings, and I became very miserable. And the thing was that I made other things my higher power, everything else, and one of the biggest ones was money. And, power and prestige and all that. And, I became very successful. Became very successful. But what happened was I ended up getting hurt, going to a doctor, and I didn't tell the doctor the truth. And the doctor prescribed painkillers. was like, and in my mind now that I look back at it, that's what I wanted, was that. And as soon as I did that, it was like it was all over with. It was like I never was clean, or I never stopped. It was like everything just started again, and then all of a sudden, the lying, the manipulation, and the thing was, is I had money, so I could hide it really good. And that's what I did. But then all of a sudden, everything started. All the using, hiding it, and I mean, there was even a time, my wife finally started getting smart to it, and one time she found a whole bag of stuff, and she was sitting there saying, well, whose is this? And I said, I have no idea. And the thing is that the funny part is there was just me, her, and 3 dogs living in the house.
Yeah.
So the dogs weren't using, and it wasn't her using, so, and, but it just got to the point where everything just started, it wasn't so much that part falling apart, it was me that was falling apart. The inside, all the sadness, I couldn't even look into a mirror, I couldn't even, look somebody in the eyes when I talked to them. I was lost.
Hi everybody, welcome back to ROC'n Recovery. I'm still here with my friend Rich.
Hello, everyone.
And we've been talking about his journey into recovery. And one of the things that kind of sticks out to me is you were talking about your journey, and at the end of the road for you, from the outside looking in, it might not be obvious to somebody that you had a drug problem.
Oh, absolutely. I was very good at hiding it, and as an addict, I'm very good at, at hiding stuff. When I was using, I was able to hide it from everyone. I mean, I was running a very successful business that I had for many, many years, and I would go to corporate meetings and stuff like that, and, because a lot of people would look at, because of tattoos and piercings and everything else, of course, right away, they would stigmatize that, oh my God, but, I would sit there and say, I don't drink, I don't use, and, but I was really, I was using. And, the thing is that, I could lie and I could, to everyone else, but I couldn't lie to myself. And that was a point of what I said about me not being able to look in a mirror and everything, because, I had everything. I literally had everything. I had, property, I had, all the material, nonsense bullshit that everybody, that you're supposed to have as you get older and all that, but none of that meant anything to me. It was all I was thinking about was that next fix.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. And the reason why that's so important is that if you're experiencing a drug problem, you don't have to wait until you're homeless. You don't have to wait until you're out on the street, until you're sick, until you get revived. You don't have to wait till any specific tragedy comes. You can stop using now and change your life. It can happen now. You don't have to wait for all of the things that some people call the not yets, right, of addiction to happen to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would sit there, and I would look at people. And here's the sick part, is that here I was in full-blown addiction, but I would look at others, and it's like, wow, look at them. But I wasn't even, because of course I was trying to take the focus off of me and put it on someone else. And put it on that, well, my life ain't that bad. I still have a home. I still have a business. I have money in my pocket. All this nonsense. But the thing is that I didn't have me. I didn't have self. I wasn't happy with me. And, you know, I mean, it's just, if I could say, you know, and I don't give suggestions, I don't tell people what to do. I mean, for me, it's, you know, when I speak for myself. I don't speak for any fellowship. I don't speak for anything like that. But I know for me that I have tried so many other different things, and until I truly surrendered, you know, I couldn't do it for my wife. I couldn't do it for my daughter. I couldn't do it for nothing else. You know, I had to do it for me. And until I did it for me and truly was sick and tired of being sick and tired, it didn't work. And I mean, you know, no matter how bad it is, you know, life is really good today. I mean, I was able to wake up this morning, you know, which is a beautiful thing, because you know what? Somebody didn't wake up this morning. You know, and the thing is that I'm able to, you know, as long as I do the right thing, you know, sometimes I don't even know what the right thing is. Because, you know, sometimes I'll sit there and, you know, get into the boo-hoos and all that other nonsense. And it's like, you know, I have to take a step back and look at it that, you know, it's all bullshit.
I want to back up again for a second, because something that you said is so important. When it comes to us reaching a bottom, okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be a financial bottom or like a physical bottom. Sometimes it's a spiritual or an emotional bottom,
Absolutely.
which is something that was my experience as well. I still lived in a nice house. I had money in the bank. I was driving a Cadillac, you know. It didn't, from the outside looking in, I wasn't what you would stereotypically call the addict, right?
Well, because that, for me, I look at it, TV has done that. TV has done that and everything else, and that the addict is the person that's, you know, that's sleeping on in a cardboard box in the streets, or, you know, they don't have nothing. They're on the corner with a sign. You know, I mean, addiction does not discriminate. You know, addiction does not discriminate, and I know that I had all those things, but I didn't have me. Like I said earlier, I mean, it was me. It was being happy with myself and being happy with, you know, see, today I believe in, how could I phrase this? I believe in a spiritual being. I believe in, you know, because a lot of times people think that it's all about religion and everything else, and that's not true. You know, that's definitely not true for me. I don't believe that there's somebody up there in the sky shooting lightning bolts at me every time I do something bad or every time I think something bad. You know, I don't believe that. I believe in, you know, today in nature. I believe in, you know, people, you know, in the rooms. You know, I try to look at positive today. Because, see, for many years, that's one thing that I was, is that I negative. You know, I fed off of negative. I fed off of just all the poor me's, all the, you know, oh, woe is me. It's, you know, if I made another $100,000, things would be better, which was all nonsense. It didn't matter how much money I had, everything I had, I wasn't happy with me.
And another part of that is, if you would just, then I'll be happy, right?
Well, it was always everybody else's
Right.
fault. It wasn't my fault. You know, I'm not the bad guy here. Come on now. Isn't it, you know, and I mean, it's so true. And it's like, and that's what I love about life today, is that I can look at these things. You know, and I can, you know, by dealing with, you know, a sponsor and stuff like that, I can look at me today. Instead of looking at you, look at myself. Because that's what it is because at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's going in that box. Ain't nobody gonna take my place. Ain't nobody gonna say, hey, Rich, I'll go for you. It ain't happening. It's about, you know, today about a life's journey. And, you know, I mean, it's, you know, life isn't, you know, things are not promised to us. You know, and that's the unfortunate thing, is that everybody feels that they're entitled to, you know, all kinds of stuff. I'm not entitled to shit.
Oh.
Sorry. You know. Is it bad?
Yeah, I'm not entitled to anything. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not entitled to anything. Well, the only thing I'm entitled to is what I work for. And what I put, you know, my energy to. Because, you know, the thing is that I wasted a lot of energy. I can remember when I was using, all I thought about, and this is how sick it was. It wasn't about having the stuff. It was about, when I had it, I was already thinking about getting more, or how I was going to get the next one. I mean, that's what my whole life revolved around, and it was like, how sick is that? Not looking at that, you know, I had a beautiful home, I had, you know, everything, anything and everything that a person would want. That people, you know, work their whole life, and I mean, the normal people work their whole lives for. Because, you know, that's the funny thing too, is that, you know, what is really normal? You know, I'm thankful I have a place today where I can go and sit and talk with her and, you know, say something with a room full of people, and there's going to be at least 30 people that understand where I'm coming from. What a miracle and what a beautiful thing that is.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to interrupt you again, Rich, because we got to go to a break, but we'll be right back. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to ROC'n Recovery. We've been talking about Rich's journey into recovery. And how long have you been in recovery now, Rich?
Coming on 7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
It's a lot of days. That's a lot
Oh,
of
absolutely.
days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I want to know what recovery looks like for you today, because there's a lot of people that maybe they're at the end of their road, right? And they're looking for a way out. And they think, you know what? I need the drug, and I can't imagine my life without it. Because it's like, you don't understand how much I want to use. And I can't go through life constantly like fighting the need to use. I just can't live that way. So what can I do? What would you say to somebody that said that?
Get a sponsor. For me, again, it's like I said, I speak for myself, but I had to really look at where my life was. You know, and the thing was is that I believe me, probably the first year when I came back into recovery, I didn't speak at a meeting. I listened because you know, back then I thought I knew everything. I really didn't know. Like I beat myself. You know, I didn't know nothing, and I needed to listen to people that were in recovery and at how they were doing it in their lives. And that was one of the biggest things, and I had to surround myself with people that were in recovery, because for the simple fact, I knew I couldn't go and hang out at a bar and drink a soda. Because, you know, I never went to a bar to just drink soda. Or I couldn't go to, you know, there was things I had to change in my life. You know, that's why one of the biggest things they say is that you have to change people, places, and things. One of the biggest people and everything else that I had to change was me. See, once I changed myself, everything else changed. You know, the not going and hanging out at parties. And I'm not saying that, you know, recovery is boring, because believe me, it's not. But I enjoy just peace and quiet. See, I don't enjoy chaos. I loved chaos for so many years. And the thing was is that I always thought that, coming into, like you asked that question about coming into early recovery, that's basically all I thought about. Was, the stomach twisting and not being able to sleep and, all this other, all this other nonsense. And the thing was is that somewhere along the line, I can't say when or where, but that obsession just went away. And I think it was because it's like, going to the bathroom, you flush the toilet, you get rid of and you replace it with, good stuff. And that's what I had to do is, I didn't swear.
You have a way with words.
But it was, I had to replace it with, good stuff. See, and I thought I knew everything, I thought, as I got older that I knew a lot about life, about everything. I really didn't know nothing. And I had to learn from people like you and people that had time, that, how they got their time. And the most amazing thing I ever heard was one day at a time. Because, there was times where, man, I didn't think that, 60 seconds I couldn't make. When they sit there and gave you the chips for, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, man, it was just a miracle. It is, it's such a miracle because, I know for me, a die-hard dope fiend, that, I was lucky if I could put 5 minutes together. And I mean, to put almost 7 years together and really not thinking about using. And I mean, I've had a lot of things happen in the past 7 years. I mean, I've went through I've had tragedies, I've had bankruptcy, I mean, I've had a lot of different stuff happen to me, and using has not been an option. It's really not been an option.
One of my most favorite things about, the program that I'm in is they say that you can stop using, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. And for me, like the losing the desire to use was impossible for me to wrap my mind around when I was new, because that's all I thought about. And I thought that, first of all, before I got into a program, I thought I was alone.
Oh yeah.
Because,
no one else.
Who used like me? Nobody, right?
Nobody had the problems I had. And that's again, I said that earlier too, is that, I would sit there and I can remember being at a meeting one time, and I heard a guy share his story, and it was so amazing, and I'm sitting there listening to this guy, and I'm like, has this guy been following me around my whole life? How the heck does he know about what I went through? He was sharing his experience and but I thought I was the only one that did those things. I always thought that I was the only one that had those feelings. And it's like, we're so much alike, it's not even funny, really. Believe me, addiction does not discriminate.
Right.
It doesn't look at that, just because you got money, you're not going to be an addict, or just because, that's all nonsense. That's all nonsense. It's, and the thing is that one of the biggest things I had to do for me was change.
Yeah.
Change this. Because once I changed this opened up, and then life opened up.
That's so true. And one thing that I need to say is that whether you're in addiction, if you're sleeping in your car, if you're sleeping in a box, if you're in a 4,000 square foot mansion on the lake, hiding in your bathroom from your family, it doesn't matter where you are, you can stop using and you could find a new way of life. It's open to you. If there's anything that we can do to help, please contact us.
There is help.
There is help available, there's hope. There's a lot of people who are in recovery that are awesome, like my friend Rich, who I'm so glad is on the show today.
Thank you.
And you can be in recovery too. You don't have to wait to hit a specific bottom.